So it seems that ever since the invention of the camera, we have been capturing weird things on film for a long time. And for those of you who know me, I don't 100% believe in ghosts, but I am open-minded. I just want to see verifiable evidence that it's true, so if I can see a video or picture that is undeniably a ghost, well, now we're talking. And so today we're checking out another video from Nuke's Top 5 to see if it can convince me to believe in ghosts. Make sure to check out his channel, I'll have it linked in the description down below.
In this countdown, I'll attempt to showcase what many believe to be true photographic evidence of the existence of ghosts.
Exactly what I want to see.
Most photos in this list were taken before the age of digital cameras and Photoshop.
Okay, that's really helpful that he pointed this out, because I was about to say it's going to be really hard to verify if these are real or not because of freaking AI, which has ruined a lot of things, and also Photoshop. So if we're looking at really old photos, which are the type I like to look at as verifiable evidence because they're so old, then we might find something really interesting here. Let's see what he's got for us.
Were shot on actual film stock and examined by experienced photographic experts.
Okay.
Photos were all found to be authentic, not manipulated in development. In the end, of course, the decision is up to you. Are these images real ghosts caught on camera, or just simple photo fakes?
Okay.
You decide.
We'll decide.
Top 5 supposedly real ghosts caught on camera. The Spectre of Newbie Church. This next
Newbie
ghost photo
Church.
is one of the most famous of all time. The photo was taken in 1963 in Newbie Church in North Yorkshire in England. The specter of the strange hooded monk with the distorted face seems so clear that it has led many to question
That's interesting.
the authenticity of the photo. However, in the late 1970s, the film was examined by a team of experts working for the BBC. The group examined both the photo and the negative and found no evidence of tampering. Even stranger, during the examination, they surmised that judging by the angle and surroundings in the photo, the scary hooded entity would have been over 8 feet tall.
Yeah, that is creepy.
The reason that this photo has more credibility than the average random ghost photo is that it was taken in 1963 by the actual vicar of the Newbie Church, Reverend Kenneth F. Lord. The Reverend says that he was attempting to take a picture of the church altar, and the bizarre figure just appeared in the photo when it was developed. By going public with his ghostly photograph, the Reverend had nothing to gain and could have easily lost the respect of his church congregation and brought shame to the church itself.
That is a good point, because sometimes when we are watching, ghost videos or ghost pictures, sometimes we forget about the people taking the photo or the video. And really looking into the background of that person can actually give you some really good verifiable evidence on whether or not the evidence that we're looking at is real. And so in this case, if this is a real ghost photo, the backstory of, the vicar who worked at the church matches up and makes sense. Now, as for the photo itself, this is a pretty neat photo. I gotta admit, this is a cool Grim Reaper photo. How would we explain this from a regular perspective? Possibly a couple things. Now, I know they've said that experts have already looked at it, but back in that time period, when you developed film, sometimes weird things would happen with the film. And so it could have just been coincidental that it just makes it look like a ghost. Upon millions of photos that were being developed, there's always going to be those ones that have weird, defects in them, and that could be a defect. I would assume that since experts have looked at this photo, it's been debunked the idea of someone taking two photos and merging them together, which I know that they could have done with film. They probably would have looked for that. But at this point, that's the only explanation I can give for this. Other than that, I think this is actually a pretty convincing photo of something really strange.
The White Lady of Worstead. In 1975, Peter and Diane Berthelot visited the Worstead Church in North Norfolk in the UK. Diane took a seat amongst the empty pews to say a short prayer.
Okay.
Her husband Peter snapped a candid photo of her as she sat and prayed. Later, when the film was developed, the couple was shocked to see the ghostly apparition of what appears to be a woman sitting behind Diane, dressed all in white, wearing a bonnet and old-fashioned clothing. Peter and Diane Berthelot swear that there was no one else present around Diane when the picture was taken. The couple later showed this photo to Reverend Petit, the church vicar. and inquired about the strange specter in the photo. They were shocked when the Reverend told them about the White Lady, a ghost that is said to have haunted the Worstead Church for more than 150 years.
Okay, so this one's a little different. Whereas before, we just had just the photo, and it was very obvious that whatever was there was translucent, you could see through it, but you could make out that there was like a creepy figure there. This just looks like, again, someone was sitting behind them in a pew, and he just took a picture. There's someone sitting behind them. And probably what happened is the sun is coming in through the window, and it's reflecting off of the person's white clothing, giving them that really bright, overexposure, glowing effect. And again, you kind of just have to take them at their word for them saying that there was no one sitting behind them. But I'm not okay with doing that. I want something a little bit stronger.
Back to the 1830s, it is said that a man laughingly dismissed the legend of the White Lady ghost, boasting that he would climb to the top of the church bell tower at midnight, and if the White Lady was there, he would give her a big kiss on the lips. As the story goes, the man followed through with his ill-advised boast. He did indeed climb the ladder to the Worstead Church bell tower at midnight.
That's
Time passed,
creepy.
but the man never returned.
Oh, no.
Finally, the man's friends ascended the bell tower stairs to check on him. What they found shocked them to the core. The man was cowering in the corner of the bell tower, shivering violently and barely able to speak.
Bro got cooked.
Quivering lips, he said simply, "I saw her. I saw the White Lady." And then without another word, he closed his eyes and passed away.
Oh, wow. Again, with any ghost comes any good, long, dramatic story. So I'm not surprised that that type of a story was told. Whether it's real or not, it's really hard to verify old stories like that to be actually real. Folklore and, folk tales start from scary, stories and monsters. So I'm not very surprised that there's a story to go along with the White Lady, so to say. So this one, I honestly, out of like a 5, I'd rate it a 1.5 for authenticity.
Farmboy ghost of Hartfordshire, England. Neil Sandbach was photographing some scenic farmhouse shots to be used as the backdrop for a couple's wedding stationery.
Okay.
The couple were planning to have their wedding at the quaint, out-of-the-way farm the next week. Later when...
Bro, if you're capturing a ghost on your wedding pictures, I'm sorry, but something bad's gonna happen in this marriage. I'm sorry.
Neil examined the series of photos that he'd taken. He was shocked to see that one of the images seemed to contain the bright, glowing figure of a young boy seemingly staring back at Neil from around the corner of one of the buildings.
That's
Neil
weird.
says that he's sure that there was no one else present at the farm when the photos were taken. Now, Neil was not sure exactly what had appeared in his photo. So before the wedding, Neil asked the staff of the farm if they had ever had any creepy or unexplained experiences while working there. Even though the farm staff had
More
not
stories.
seen Neil's spooky photo, and in fact didn't even know the picture existed, they all said that on many occasions they had each seen the figure of a young boy, dressed in old-fashioned white sleeping clothes and lurking around the barn.
That's interesting.
This is believed to be the spirit that Neil Sandbach photographed. But what do you think? Is it a real ghost caught on camera, or just some careful photo manipulation by an experienced photographer?
That one's a little more interesting to me. There's just clearly something shown in the photo, kind of like the first one. What it is, I can't personally say. It could be a reflection possibly off of something onto the side of the building, and it just happens to take that shape. It could be something like that, or like, Nuke's Top 5 pointed out was a careful manipulation, of the photo. But if those two things aren't the case, that might be a pretty good picture of a ghost, I'm not gonna lie.
The Chico ghost truck. Roy, a California policeman, found an old abandoned truck on Honey Run Road in Chico, California. He took pictures of the truck for the purpose of logging the vehicle into police records so that it could be towed away. Later, when Roy checked his photos, he was shocked to see the clear image of a face staring back at him from the passenger seat of the truck. Roy swears that there was no one around when he...
Okay, this is just one of those coincidences. There's obviously a window that is on the back of the truck, and and you can see there's this part of it is covered up by the seat on the passenger side, And so the window is a lot larger and it goes underneath that seat. And just the way the pixels mix together just happen to make it look like a pretty convincing face. I'm not going to lie. Like, it does look like a face. You can see mouth, eyes, eyebrows, nose. But it just perfectly just made it look that way. But that's definitely explainable. That is not a ghost.
Took his pictures, and the man's likeness did not appear in any of his other photos.
Because you're taking it at different angles. That would make sense.
Look that the man appears to be giving Roy as the picture is taken. But what do you think? Is this a real ghost caught on camera, or just a bizarre reflection from the midday sun?
That too. It could be possibly that too.
The Pink Lady of O'Hare. Armed with video and film cameras, a man named Guy Winters and a friend set out to explore the supposedly haunted O'Hare house in Greencastle, Indiana. The two men spent 2 days exploring and filming the house.
Okay.
Several minor oddities and paranormal occurrences were experienced. But by far the most striking supernatural evidence retrieved were these photos, snapped by Guy Winters of the outside of the O'Hare house. This first photo is the blurry picture of what appears to be a woman standing in the front doorway, staring out at the photographer.
I don't see it.
The second picture, another blurry manifestation looking out a downstairs window. But what truly baffled paranormal researchers is this series of photos taken of an upstairs bedroom. It shows 3 photos of what has come to be called the Pink Lady of O'Hare House.
Okay.
Guy Winters did not see this apparition at the time and only found it later after the photos were developed.
Interesting.
A professional analysis of the film proved that the images are indeed on the film negative. But perhaps even more chilling is what happened when the picture was run through a computer enhancement to try to uncover greater detail in the photo.
That's cool.
When enhanced, the photo looks like a skull encased in the ghastly apparition of a human body. Unfortunately, no further investigation into O'Hare House was ever able to be conducted. Once Guy Winters' footage became public, the house's owner, fearing intense interest by other paranormal researchers and local teenagers, had the house demolished.
Oh, wow.
There's now only a cornfield where the house once stood. These photos taken by Guy Winters during his investigation may be the last shots ever taken of O'Hare House. So is this a real ghost caught on camera, or just a careful fake?
This one is very interesting. At first, like, just looking at it like this, to me, it looks like towards the center of, like, whatever the pink thing is, it seems a lot brighter, which indicates a light source. So it almost, like, at first, I was thinking, okay, well, this is just someone holding, like, a flashlight with a pink covering over it and is just sticking it with their arm, like, in the windowsill, and the guy's taking the picture from the ground. And he's kind of moving the camera a little bit so it has that kind of blurry effect. Because there definitely is a light source in every single one of these pictures, and it's right in the center. But, like he pointed out, then they did a computer, basically, enhancement of these photos. And you can clearly see, like, it looks like a face with a hood, and it's a skull face. Very interesting. A part of me still thinks it's just a flashlight being used because of the weird light source that's right in the middle of it. I think, to me, that's just is very interesting, and the light kind of fans out, creating all of the other pixels, which then would make up the skull. I'm going to go back and look at the enhancements again. Because, yeah, I mean, you can see that looks like a face, but down here, and like right here and right here, those are like the light sources. It's very interesting. It's very, very interesting. Also, I can't tell if this is a window, if there's still glass, because it looks like this is reflection of the glass, which means whatever it was would have been on, definitely would have been on the inside of the window. I'm going to be completely honest. I cannot 100% like solve these. This is actually pretty neat pictures. Like, I think these are pretty cool. I think those need to go in the X-Files for sure. So, were you convinced of ghosts? I wasn't quite convinced, although I did see some really interesting things. I especially like the fact that we were looking at only old photographs taken on real film, which are harder to manipulate, giving it more authenticity of being genuine. But with that, make sure to check out this video where I checked out some of the most viral ghost clips of ghosts caught in 4K on camera. I'll see you all next time. Take care.